Welcome to the Opposition Preview. So, hello everyone and welcome back to the Bleed Norwich YouTube channel. It is time for another Opposition Preview. The games are coming quick and fast, and Derby Day's only round the corner, but before then we've got two games that Norwich City really do need to show signs of improvement in. And first of all, we're coming up against Stoke at the Bet365 Stadium, and I am joined by Moz from Moz And His Shirts. Moz, how are you today, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. How about you?
Yeah, everything apart from Norwich, I'm all good. Everything Norwich related is quite dismal at the minute. But we'll start with Stoke. You guys are second in the league. You have had a very, very decent start and sort of unexpected as well.
I will be honest with you. I did expect to get about 6 or 8 points this time. Well, this point in the season, because the run we had in for us didn't look favourable at all. I thought we'd lose to Derby. I think everyone expects a result against Sheffield Wednesday, given what's going on there. Southampton, I expect us to get annihilated, to be honest. West Brom, we never win them in any situation. And Birmingham, I thought we'd struggle against as well. But the QPR game was quite annoying for us because we didn't really look at it at all. But everywhere else, I've just been completely stunned by them.
Yeah, no, like you say, it's been just a fantastic start for you guys. Mark Robbins, obviously Norwich legend as well, done wonderful things with Coventry. Obviously, last season was might as well have been a write-off. He had Narcissus Pilak come in during the season as well from Norwich. So
I forgot he came from you lot as well.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of a write-off last season, but this season, Mark Robbins really seems to have sort of united the group, brought in some really good quality over the summer window. What's sort of been the main standout for you so far this season?
We'll go from the outside in. So from a fan perspective, he's brought a massive improvement in the atmosphere. We've seen it with the home games. A lot more people have turned up to him, which is always a great bonus for us. I think that's going to be the same this weekend, with the slight caveat of there being a slight promotion on ticket prices, so that always helps. I think it's the first home game back from the international break, if my memory serves me right anyway, which it never does. But overall, there's been a lot more positivity around the club. Like I said, last season was an absolute write-off, given the managerial merry-go-round that we had. Obviously, Schumacher getting gone after, it would have been actually this point in the season, to be honest. It might have been slightly before. Pilak, don't want to talk about him ever. And then obviously Robin's coming in around the end of December, start of January was a massive coup for us, because I generally thought he'd be going to higher up in the Championship and potentially like lower end of the Premier League. But with the squad, I generally don't see how many players have been revived under him. The biggest example I've got is Ben Wilmot, our star centre half at the minute. Him and another player I want to touch on in some detail later on. They've been an absolute revelation for us, and some of the signings that they've made as well have been fantastic. One player that hasn't got as much of a credit this season has been Aaron Cresswell. Premier League experience, fantastic for West Ham, and has come down to Stoke and just fitted in seamlessly. And it's good to have a bit of experience in our back line, like everyone needs it. But he's just coming and completely revamped us.
Yeah, no, I think it's pivotal having sort of that level of experience in a Championship side in terms of getting promoted. I remember Norwich were briefly linked with Aaron Cresswell for a while. We were looking for a left back. We've ended up with Jeffrey Schlupp, which less said about that, the better. Just touching on your recent form, obviously you've won 4 games this season. You came out of the blocks flying, but 2 losses over your last 3. Is there any sort of cause for concern or a slight dip in form that could happen? Or
I think I said this to my mate that I go with. Momentum's been a key thing for us. Like with the first 5 games we've had, obviously 4 wins, 1 loss. The loss that we had was a bit of an iffy one, really. It's West Brom at home. We never do anything against them. But it's a tricky one because neither looked impressive. So a draw would have been a fair result. But obviously, West Brom got a bit of I'd say a lucky goal. Obviously, there's some bias in that. But West Brom, I think they'll be one of those teams who will definitely be higher up in the league throughout the year. And the QPR one I was just disappointed by it. I was watching in the booze with my mates whilst Liverpool was on as well, so we were flicking between the two. And watching Stoke just infuriated us because QPR looked like they wanted it more, but with their form as well. I think it won 2 in the row beforehand, and the QPR looked miles better. and it's really annoyed me that a player called Vale scored the winner as well.
Yeah,
He
no,
just really had to rub salt. It rubbed salt in the wounds.
yeah, no, I did see that. I did think that would rile up a few Stoke fans. But yeah, the QPR game, I think, like you say, it was a very strange one. But QPR prior to that, obviously, were on sort
Yeah,
of hit a run of form after that 7-1 thumping at Coventry. But in terms of the squad you guys have got, I think it's a very impressive squad. And there are some very good quality players in there, and one that I think you've done very well to keep hold of is your goalkeeper, Victor Johansson. I think he is arguably the best keeper in the league. I
there's
think he's
no argument.
fantastic. Yeah, he's fantastic, isn't
Nope.
he?
It's a weird one as well. Oh, sorry, I'll let you finish. Sorry for
How
jumping in.
important is it to have kept hold of him?
It's been massive because I generally thought with his finishing so low, he would have gone, but he made a massive commitment in the summer to stay with us, and it's probably been like a new, almost on par with like a new signing, having him back, or sticking with us rather. But having such a commanding presence in goal as well, he does have like the odd error in him, like that's every keeper though, isn't it? But his distribution with his hands in particular, like we saw against Southampton, basically launching it halfway across the pitch to set up Sorby, and we just love him. And that's the problem we've had. We've had keepers on loan. We've fallen in love with them for him to go back. And this is the first time we've had a keeper we can truly call ours. And we've just taken to him so well, and vice versa with him taking so well to us, really.
Yeah, of course. We spoke sort of about the back end of your pitch, but the firing end, the front end of the pitch, I think has also been very impressive for you guys this season. Sorba Thomas is obviously a name thrown around. He's been very creative, one of the best creative players in the league at the minute. And your striker Divin Mabama has always been, for me this season so far, has been very impressive. What do you make of your sort of front line at the minute?
I've got one word, well, two words to say about Sorba Thomas. Just magic. Every time I get see him with the ball, I do get excited because it's one that you don't know what he's going to do, but he's always going to take someone on, and you just don't know how he's going to do it. Because particularly the game against Sheffield Wednesday, and granted it was against, it might have been Jan Valery that it was against. He was quite a solid defender. He had the ring around him, and I thought his biggest test would have been against Ethan Laird at Birmingham, but he's just battered him. And overall, the new signs we've had have been fantastic. We touched on Cresswell before. He's just been such a massive experience presence at the back. It's been massive for us. We've got a few more players coming into the team. Thomas Riga that we signed from a team in Czech Republic, the Slovakian international, and then Lamine Cisse that we signed from Bastia in France. But you touched on him earlier. Mabam has been. We get quite pessimistic when it comes to loan players, especially with the last one we had from Man City being Wilson Esperant, who was god awful. But with Mabama, the one problem I do have with him, he is offside quite a lot, but that's just because he's 1920, so he'll have that in his game. But he's very demanding of the ball, which I do quite like because our other striking options are Sam Gallagher, who is always injured. I don't think that's it, to be honest with you. I can't think of anyone else.
So having someone of Mabama's quality, obviously he's now an England under 21s player as well. You know,
Yeah,
he's been brilliant. There is a centre half that I do want to bring up, Bosun Lawal.
he was on my list as well.
He's been super impressive at the back, along with Wilmot. And yeah, defensively, you guys seem a lot more well structured. I think there's multiple occasions last season where I saw Stoke ship in a number of goals at Carrow Road as well, and when you shipped in four. When you had Ben Gibson, ex-Norwich player, at the back as
Don't
well.
talk about him around me. I
But
have a massive agenda against him.
yeah, no, I think a lot of Norwich fans do as well at the minute. But this season, you just seem so well structured defensively. Again, is that sort of the Mark Robbins effect?
Yeah, well, I completely forgot Lawal existed until about March, April this year when he started coming on a lot more. He had his injury problems, but we started chucking him around in like centre mid, holding mid. I think the worst game I've ever seen Leeds away, we threw him up front just because we had nothing else to do. But this season now he's been at centre half. He's been a completely different player. Um, and I just always go back. I just keep calling him the fridge, and I don't know why. He's just like very hard to get past, and just he's just such a good defender as well. Finally got his goal against Birmingham City, which I've been calling for ages. Like every time we get a corner, I just get excited for it. So now it's going to go straight on his head, and it's just going to cause some problems.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think he's been a standout. I think sort of your whole back line has been sort of fantastic. Midfield, you've been very compact, been very good creatively with Sorba Thomas, and Mabama's been providing goals. I think at the minute you're sort of firing in all cylinders in terms of the championship. Obviously, unfortunate QPR, unfortunate at home to West Brom, but like you say, you never there's fixtures that you just never win.
Exactly, yeah.
So there's nothing you can do about that, which is the only saving grace that I've got going into the East Anglian Derby in a couple of weeks. But looking ahead for Stoke, what's sort of your expectation going into the game against Norwich and for the rest of the season?
Well, the start of the season, I was quite pessimistic because I thought we'd be around about the 16th to 19th, so like in around that relegation dogfight. But that was just because of how last season ended, just with it being such a disappointment. But when the signings started flooding in, I was like getting ever so slightly more optimistic. And then I think the first, who was the first game again? It's completely slipped my mind
Derby,
now.
wasn't it?
Yeah, Derby's home. Yeah, I thought as soon as they scored with that Carlton Morris, I thought it was going to be more of the same. But there's one Stoke have become a lot more stubborn now. Like when we go 1-0 down early, well, late on, generally we tend to claw our way back in. And obviously it was back three against Derby very late on. And just such a frenzied flurry. It was unbelievable to watch. Um, but like you said, Romans has come in and just shored everything up now. We've got Lawal and Wilmot in is two of probably the best, well, one of the best centre back pairings at the moment in the league. I know 6 games in, so things can change. But then that's caused two very decent defenders in themselves. And Ashley Phillips, who got back from Tottenham, and I can't ever say his last name, so I'm calling him Maxi, the massive Ukrainian fellow that we got from Plymouth. Um, and by keeping them two out, has proved to be a bit of, I don't know, somewhat of a blessing. But midfield wise, like I mentioned earlier, we've got Thomas Rigo coming in. He's I think he actually just come out and said he wants to be a bit of a problem for teams in the rest of the league, which I'd love because he does look a bit Spice Boy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like bleached hair, that kind of look to him. But I can see him being a little bit of a ratty little player, like someone who goes in for niggling tackles and that kind of thing. And then we just got I don't want to call it Brexit energy, but Ben Pearson. I think he is suspended for this game as well, which really annoys me. But it's that kind of player you expect to get a yellow card within a millisecond, and he's just a lot of passion in him as well.
Yeah, no, there's like you said, I like how you brought up Brexit, but obviously try to avoid the situation because
Yeah,
I wouldn't say
it's like that
Brexit,
kind of mentality, if you know what I mean.
just
Yeah,
very sort of like robust and very sort of relentless and yeah, I think again, like your whole squad is very sort of well experienced and well equipped for the championship, and that's what I think that a lot of sort of the bigger sides in the league are missing is that they have all
mm.
these sort of fancy players, so to speak, and players with sort of very good technical ability, but no sort of nuance
Yeah,
around the division, and that never really helps. And I think that's sort of what Norwich have definitely lacked so far this season is sort of just that bit of championship
yeah.
experience.
Which I'd use the term like all the gear but no ideas
Yeah.
for some of the clubs that like. We use your best mates as an example. Like brought in all these flashy players and just done absolutely nothing with it really. But
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
same time, with you guys, you've not been out by injuries at all, have you?
No, it's I mean, as much as I would love to use injuries as an excuse, it's been sort of the worst possible start it could be for Norwich, losing 4 out of 4 home games. Obviously, this is away. This is sort of our only saving grace. The fact that our away form has been fairly decent, but we haven't set the world alight in any of our away performances. We were fairly decent at Blackburn, but again, it's Blackburn. It's not hard
Yeah,
to look decent there, but yeah, it's just I think for Norwich it this does pose an opportunity for us to put things right from the weekend against Wrexham, but it's just not looking likely at the minute with the
mm.
injuries that we've got. We've just lost Papa Diallo for a number of months, and it's just it's coming to the point now where I already want to write the season off. So that's never good. But we will touch on sort of Norwich. Are there any players in our squad? Obviously, the obvious one is Sargent, but you can use him if you like. But that you are sort of, I guess, threatened by, and that could cause Stoke some problems.
it's well, yeah. I've got Josh Sargent on the list. He's just is the best striker in the championship by
Yeah.
far. But from a defensive point of view, I quite when I watched him last season, that's in Cordoba. You got the Panama international. I quite like the look of him against us last season because I think it was him, Callum Doyle in that back four you were playing last season, wasn't
Yeah, it was back
it?
four.
And
Yeah,
they just look so solid together. You keep Kovacevic, he looks a bit of a decent pickup from.
yeah.
Where did you get him from? Was it
We
from
we got
Serbia?
we got him from Sporting Lisbon. He was on loan in Poland at Legia Warsaw, but
Hmm.
yeah, just didn't sort of settle in at the Sporting, so they were happy to let him go for 2.5 million, and we picked him up, and he's been fantastic.
Yeah.
Cordoba, on the other hand, he's had a horrible start to the
Oh, has
season.
he?
Yeah,
I thought I based the Cordoba thing off what I watched of him last
yeah,
season. I thought he was good against us. But the other player I've got on my list is Harry Darling, and I know the lad from Wrexham mentioned it as well. I would have loved to have had him at Stoke on a financial basis, obviously with being a free transfer, but watching him for Swansea, he looked quite the part as well.
Yeah, no, Darling is. I think he has been fantastic for us this season. I think all Norwich fans are willing to sort of write off that Wrexham game when we're basing it off players because defensively it was all over a place.
Mm.
I would highly recommend watching Wrexham's first goal. It's very comedic if you're not a Norwich fan. But yeah, Harry Darling's been fantastic. He scored this season as well. He's a threat in the air. But even defensively, playing from the back, he loves to spray passes around. He's quick. He loves making a tackle here and there. Yeah, he's been fantastic, and it's sort of a revelation for Norwich to have a centre back that's actually somewhat competent because we are not blessed defensively and never
Yeah,
have been. So yeah, he's been fantastic. Sargent, like you say, best striker in the league. Hasn't scored for 2 games. So I'm starting to get a bit worried. Is he receiving the service? I mean,
mm.
evidence shows that he's not, but need to get him firing in all cylinders. But it's going to be a struggle.
Who's the Danish lad you got in this summer for quite a bit of money as well?
Oh, Matthias Kvistgolden, yeah, he's out for 6 weeks as well at the minute, which is a right nightmare.
I could generally just say a random name and he can guarantee that they'll be out injured, won't they?
Yeah, it's a horrible time in terms of injuries at the minute. It just happens every season with Norwich as well. Usually it's Sargent that picks up the injuries for us.
Mm.
Like he plays like the first couple of weeks or months of the season, then he'll pick up a long-term injury and he's out to the new year. But this time it's Kvistgolden. He started against Blackburn, played very well. Started against Coventry, scored, came off injured, and he's now out for 6 weeks. So
That's just what you want, isn't it?
yeah, it's a real kick in the teeth. And like looking at that lineup that we had away at Blackburn, the last game before the international break, I think it was. That whole lineup's completely changed now because just due to injuries, it's a real nightmare at the minute.
It's very much a patch job of a back line. Well, I'd say patchwork of an entire team at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the back line is sort of the main one. I think if you do play whoever's on your right hand side on the wing is going to have a field day. We currently don't have a match fit left back. Schlupp is out injured, Krisene's out injured, and Mahovo has only just come back from like an 8 month injury, and he's only just back in team training. So at most he'll feature in the match day squad on the bench, but won't start. So it'll be Cordoba at left back or Kellen Fisher, who are both not viable options going forward.
So say our right side's looking a lot more optimistic this year than last season as well, with Manoff almost getting a bit of a kick in the arse when he got subbed off early on. It looked like his time was up, but then since that point on, I think he's just come back as a better mindset for one. So he did strike me as a bit arrogant when we first brought him in, but he could back it up as well. But then first full season, he looked a bit hit and miss. I think his best moment last season was against Plymouth away. Just scored a late winner. Everyone lost their minds, and he's been a bit frustrating to watch. But this season, I think he's got his head down. It's just actually he still has moments of selfishness, but overall is looking a lot better as a player, really.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Manhoof. I've seen him play a couple of times last season, and like you say, there are still that like the moments of selfishness. He is still young. I know he's with the
Yeah,
Netherlands under 21 squad, but there is sort you can just when there's a player there, and when you watch him, you do think okay, he can make something happen. He can put a game on
yeah.
his head.
It's like a swagger to him,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
that's the one thing we have. I don't have a problem with it, but as long as you can back it up, then I'm
yeah.
sound of it.
Yeah, that's it. If he can start backing out again for you guys this season, if he starts doing that on a regular basis, I think there's no issues in having that argument for a top six finish.
Mm.
Absolutely. But I mean, it's so early on in the season. We are 6 games in, but where do you see yourself finishing this season? It's so early on.
I generally use the 10 game rule to see where aroundabouts we finish potentially. But obviously, the championship's the way it is for a
Yeah,
reason. So I don't want to say anything just yet. If ideally, I'd want us obviously to finish above the drop, and then like mid-table is like a minimum. Obviously, if we do carry on from where we are now, rather, I'm obviously more than happy to finish second in the league. But I doubt it purely because I think teams around us will start kicking in. Like I do think like clubs like yourselves will start getting results together and end up leapfrogging us, and then obviously the clubs that come down from the Premier League will start bouncing back.
yeah. Yeah, that is always sort of the fear. I think that's what Norwich fans fear about Ipswich as well. We're only couple weeks out from the derby, and if they start picking up form in their next two league games, we are in for our first hiding in 16 years. So that's always a nightmare to think about. But yeah, no, again, Stoke have been fantastic so far this season. I think, apart from this weekend, hopefully you guys can keep it up because obviously you've been out of the Premier League a very, very long time now. That sort of, I don't know how many years it's been, but
I
it
think
must have been painful.
I think it's been about 8 years, yeah, since we've been out of the Premier League, and it has just been depressing. Just watching a lot of it's more frustrating with like the players that have come through that have gone on to do better things. Like, I mean, even with looking at the squad, like the Southampton have Taylor Horde Bellis came to us for a little bit a couple of years ago. Obviously, got on to play for England, and I think he scored on his debut as well, didn't
It
he?
did, yeah, yeah.
And he's gone on to be a massive player. I mean, even now, like Nathan Collins when he was with us, bossing it at Brent. He's at Brentford now, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he's at Brentford, yeah.
Um, and then just like even like someone stupid like Harry Suter, obviously got a massive move following the World Cup, but just loads of players have come through us and have gone to do better things. Which I mean, once you come to Stoke, you survived, and you can just thrive from there on in, can't you?
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, no, fingers crossed we see you back in the Premier League and those rainy Tuesday nights on the on the TV on a regular basis. But we'll go into the final part of the opposition preview. What is your score prediction going into the weekend?
See the right side, well, the left side for you is going to be your downfall. I think, like
Yeah,
we just touched on. I really don't want to say a 3-1 win for Stoke, but at the same time, I kind of do because I think the QPR game is going to be a bit of a kick in the arse for us as well. And it depends. It ultimately depends on who's in the squad as well, because I think we're still waiting on Big Steven Sonsi coming back. Lamine Cisse, I think, will get more minutes. Same with Thomas Rigo. Hopefully, he starts on Saturday. But I do think Sargent would be a bit of a problem, especially with us not having an out and out holding mid if Pearson's out for the game. But I think, well, I'm hoping anyway, Lawar's going to keep him in his back pocket. Um, and then just let everyone else just run rings without being too biased.
yeah. I mean, I'm not confident at all going into the weekend. I have predicted a 1-0 loss for Norwich. So I just again, I think just our lack of creativity. I don't think Sargent will get a lot of chances. And away from home, we like to just sit back and just defend and sort of be resilient in that sense. So I can see us conceding because defensively we're still lacking a bit, but. I can't see us getting anything from the game. So I think you might come away the happier of the two of us come
Yeah.
Saturday evening.
And I think one thing I wanted to mention as well, we touched on it earlier, but obviously I think there's a lot more tickets going for sale with some sort of promotion. So I think that, I dare say, old school atmosphere is starting to creep back in a bit now, whereas a little bit more fire to everyone watching. Um, so I think once Stoke start playing well, like on Saturday anyway, it'll start like churning its way out, and then you'll hear a lot more. Well, I daren't say that old school Stoke coming back in. Like we touched on it earlier as well, like that old school mentality, like with Pearson. I think we're starting to see that creep back in a bit more because I think the best moment I've seen the season without scoring was Wilmot's tackle against Stansfield against Birmingham, and that was probably the best bit of defending I've seen this season from a Stoke point of view. Anyway,
Yeah, I think if you guys get the home fans on side very early doors and that atmosphere is rocking, it's just going to make it so much more difficult for Norwich to get anything from it. And it's already looking like an uphill battle, and the game hasn't even
yeah,
started yet. So yeah, very very worried. But we will end the opposition preview here. Make sure you go follow Moz and His Shirts. All the links will be down in the description. Thank you, Moz, for coming on Bleed Norwich this evening. Sorry.
Thanks very much for having us. Hope you have a good weekend.
I'm pretty sure you'll probably have a better weekend as we've previewed this upcoming game with Stoke facing Norwich at the Bet365 Stadium. Make sure you follow Bleed Norwich on all socials. Links for them will be down in the description. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.